this video, we are going to be going over how to graph a table of data so that we get a nice visual picture of what's going on between two kinds of numbers as they relate to each other. And we're going to do this with numbers that are not so pretty. So we're going to be getting a graph that is a great approximation of what's going on, but it'll be a sketch. It won't be perfection. And that's because of the decimals that we see here. So in a previous video, I went over how to kind of draw up a graph with a nice set of numbers. Now we got some not so nice numbers. Let's do it. So the instructions are graph the following data. We're told that the title is the cost of movie download. So I'm going to write, as always, when I graph things, the cost of movie download. So I want to have the title up here. So cost of movie downloads. I'm going to be going through how to do everything in this problem. So you got the cost of movie downloads. I already put cost in money on the vertical axis or the y-axis. The reason why cost is there is because the number of movies that we purchase will affect the cost, will result in the cost. The result of an action goes on the vertical axis. And then the thing causing that cost to go up, right? So the independent part that we get to choose, the number of movies, time, anything along those lines, that will go on the horizontal axis. So that'll be movies. So I'll just put movies down here. Now, we need to determine what our intervals are going to be, or in other words, how much each block will be worth. Let's check that out. Well, I'm given here that the movies on the horizontal axis goes up by 1 each time. There's a rule of thumb that you want somewhere between 6 to 10 blocks worth on your graph. So if I have 1 through 5, it makes sense that I would go up by 1. So we don't have to do any math for that. So I'll start at 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you might be wondering, Mr. Gruden, why are you not numbering every single line? Reason being is I don't want to crowd this with numbers. It's up to you. You could certainly do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's your call. Now the cost, this one's going to be a little funky. It looks like we're going up by decent amounts, but this is where I'm going to estimate it. So we're not going to go up by cents here. This amount is somewhere around 10, somewhere around, so this is roughly $10, and this is roughly $1, and this is roughly $22-ish. Actually, let's round it off. It's closest to 20. This is closest to 30, and this is closest to 40. So we're going up by roughly tens, and I guess you could call this 0 then if we're going up by tens, right? Roughly going up by tens. So if I want 6 to 10 blocks, and we're going up by tens, and we go all the way up to 40, we would need our blocks. Well, let's see. If we have 10 blocks, 40 divided by 10 is going to equal to 4. So that would be 10 blocks divided into the 40 total dollars that we span. That would give us $4 per block. I want maybe a little more. Let's do 40 divided by 8 blocks, and that would give us $5 per block. So I'm going to assign each block worth $5. So this is going to be 5, then 10, 15, then 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and we'll go a little higher, 45, 50, let's keep going, 55, 60, right? So that gives us roughly 10 blocks or so. It actually goes up to 12, so maybe, you know what, we'll leave it at 60. So you want between 6 to 10 blocks. If you go up to 12, you're okay. But you don't want like 30 blocks of something. It becomes way too much to see. All right, finally, the last step is graphing out these points. Now we're going to approximate these. We're not going to get the exact points because 99 cents is not going to be easy to graph when we're going up by $5. So what do? Well, we go to the right for one movie, and then we go up 99 cents. So we approximate 99. If this is 5, that's somewhere around here, roughly up that high. 1 and then 99 cents is about a fifth of the way up. 2 and 11.48 is a little bit north, right? 11.48, somewhere like that, a little bit north of 10. Then we go 3 movies and then 21.97. So 3 movies, 21.97 is roughly, I don't know, that's somewhere around 22. So that's a little bit shy of halfway. And then 4 movies, 32.46. So 4 movies, 32 is, well, 32 is about, that's 32.46, about halfway between 30 and 35. And finally, 5, 42.95. You go over 5 and then up, that's about 43. So here's 40. 43 is a little bit past halfway. And the interesting thing here is I'm not going to connect these points. Because if I did connect these points, then I'd be saying that I have points in between them. And I don't have half movies. There is no such thing as 2.5 movies, and there's no cost to it. So I should not connect the dots because there are no points in between these. So this is our graph that represents the cost of movie downloads over the number of movies that we've purchased. That's all there is to it, peeps. Remember, your intervals are pretty easy to find. You take your total gap. From here, it was about 0 to 40, and you divide it by the number of intervals that you want to find how much each interval will be. That's a very formal way of doing it. Some of you might have just looked at this and said, you know what? I'm going to go up by 5s and that'll be good enough. And you know what? That's just fine. All right, peeps. I hope this was super rad. I know I had fun making it. I'll see you in the next video.